How do you live in truth in your relationship when you are walking on eggshells? It's very, very difficult. But in this video, I'm going to show you how. So, in this latest episode of Living Truth, I want to talk about relationships. So, do you feel like you're walking on eggshells in your relationship? Do you feel like you are thinking about what you're going to say before you say it, in case there's going to be a disproportionate reaction to your words? And it might be something that is quite small. It might be a pet peeve, but you're thinking, oh, should I say it? Should I not say it? What's the reaction going to be? And when you hold this kind of tension in your body, the tension can be felt by everybody in the household because it's energy and it's this heaviness between the both of you. So what you do is you keep your mouth shut, and then the energy just remains heavy, it remains unspoken, and it's unresolved, and it just keeps building and building and building, almost like this kind of volcano where at any moment something might erupt because the energy is so heavy. But this is what you need to remember. You need to remember that your truth absolutely matters. You need to feel safe in speaking your truth. You need to feel that your voice matters. And what we do by not speaking our truth is that we make ourselves small and we give our power away. And so what actually ends up happening is that there is an explosion with this volcano, and then we continue to give our power away because we're out of control and we're saying things that are not helpful for you or the other party, and they can be quite hurtful because now there's all this emotion that's bubbling underneath the surface. And so speaking your truth does not have to be loud. It does not have to be aggressive. It can be loving. It can be clear, and it can be grounded. But if you're feeling really angry because you feel like someone is utilizing their power over you, that's not the time to speak. So what you need to do at that point is actually find your center. And the way that you find your center is by spending time in nature, spending time by yourself, doing some really heavy, deep breathing, and just being with yourself and allowing all the emotions just to come through naturally. And when those emotions come through and they're released, and therefore that kind of intensity has been released from that inner energy, that inner pressure valve, then you can make a time to speak with your partner or whoever it is that you need to speak to. It might be a parent, it might be a child, it might be a friend. So whoever you need to speak to, find your center first so that you're not speaking from a place of anger. You're not speaking from a place of being furious at the other person. You're not projecting your energy onto the other person. However, once you do find your center, that's when you do need to assert yourself in a very real way. So being heard is not about controlling the other person. It's not about manipulating the other person to do what you want them to do. It's not about them seeing things from your perspective. It's about connection. So really getting in touch with your heart and opening up your heart to how much you love the other person, how much you care for the other person, and how you do love them and you do want this connection between the two of you. And when you have that intention, then whatever words that you use to explain how you feel, they're going to feel your intention. They're going to feel that it's coming from a good place, that it's coming from a good intention, that it's coming from your heart. So boundaries is something that you need to enforce to protect your energy. They are acts of self-love. They're not punishments for the other person. They're not to get back to the other person because they've done something to you. They are just making it very clear as to what is not okay. So a personal example for me, it's never okay to receive anger from the other person. It's never okay. That is a boundary breaker for me. And so I make it very clear that people are not to ever shout at me, because that's not okay. My standards and my self-worth and the way that I see myself is so much more than that. And so if I'm ever in a situation where that happens, I don't address what the person is saying. I just say, I will not be spoken to like that. Please lower your voice. So you need to be very aware of what your standards are and be able to express that. But what that also means is that boundaries are not just suggestions. You're not just suggesting that they never yell at you, or that they are not angry at you, or that they don't project this kind of power play on you or play games with you. It's not a suggestion, it's an actual fact. So you've got to make it clear that, well, what will happen if they do that again? That you will not be available for that you walk away, that you will not be in the room to receive that. Or you might make it very clear that if this continues and this kind of behavior continues, I'm just not going to be around for it in the future. I won't be in the relationship because I will not accept it. So you need to ask yourself whether someone that you love should accept this type of behavior. And if they shouldn't, then why should you? So energy never, ever, ever lies. When you don't speak up, your body just carries this tension. And even if your words don't carry the tension, the energy does. And the moment that you're carrying this tension, the other person can feel the tension as well. And so your self-worth and your standards set the tone of what you are prepared to accept in your life and what you're not prepared to accept. And the universe is always listening to how much you value yourself. Because if you don't value yourself, the universe will hand over in a platter a relationship that shows you how much you should not be valued. If you do value yourself, all these new things start coming into your world and into your life. When you start to set new standards for who you are and what's acceptable to you, you'll notice that you'll start to notice synchronicities. You might notice like the numbers, the 1111, the 444, the 333, because whenever I step into my power and in a very, very loving way, I always get these affirmations from the universe and from my angels very soon after, almost as if I've got my little cheering team at the back of me saying, yes, 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 that's the way. You remembered who you are. You've remembered that you are this powerful, loving force, and that you should not accept anything less ever, because that's who you are. We've got you. We're behind you. We're here for you. And whenever I do that, no matter where I am in whatever part of my life, I always find these numbers that pop up, and it's just so affirming to know, yes, this is who I am and this is my worth, and I'm not going to accept anything less. And then what happens is the universe then matches you and says, well, okay, yeah, you are this worth, and therefore this is what's going to be appearing in your life. This opportunity will appear in your life. This miracle will appear in your life. So not only do you teach others how to treat you by the way that you treat yourself, but then the universe also treats you like that, because everything is a mirror. So the way that we treat ourselves is the way that we get treated by the world. And so then things that are worthy of your standard start to come into your life, because now you're stepping into the truth of who you really are. And then everything around you mirrors that. And so my question to you is, are you living in your truth in your relationship? If you find that you're walking on eggshells, if you find that you are really careful about the words that you're using in case you get the other person angry, then what you're actually doing is lowering your self-worth, not only in front of the other person, but in front of the whole universe. And so what you need to do is remember who you are, the truth of who you are, how you deserve to be treated, and you powerfully step into it with love, making your standards very clear and making sure that you know that if those standards are not kept, you're not going to be hanging around for it, because you do only deserve the best. If you give the best, you deserve the best. And so everybody is worthy of a relationship that honors them, that respects them. If you're in an intimate relationship, someone who adores you, who would do acts of service for you, who would do anything for you, just like you would do for them. And so remember who you are and speak from that place always. If you know someone who is not remembering who they are and they are accepting lower standards from their relationship, forward this video on to them so that they can see it too. We need to share these truths with as many people as possible. So this is my series, Live in Truth, where every week, or it might not be every week, that's the truth, it might be every 2 weeks, I explore a different part of truth and how we need to always, always live in truth, no matter what, because that's where our power lies. Live in truth. That's where your power lies.